Well, this past Sunday, I spoke about this whole thing of being anxious and anxiety and how it really plagues us so many times. That word in the New Testament really is important for us to understand. When Paul speaks into anxious and anxiety, he's talking about when we kind of turn away from God. We betray God in a sense. We say that we don't have any trust or we lack trust in God and that he's going to take care of us and make sure we're okay. So anxiety is something that we need to kind of figure out because we struggle with it all the time. So Paul tells us in Philippians 4, he says, don't be anxious about anything, but in everything, by prayer and by petition, with thanksgiving, present your request to God. So what's Paul saying? He's saying, well, instead of being anxious, we need to do something about that. Instead of being anxious, we need to pray about whatever it is that's causing us to be anxious. So I got thinking about that. That probably doesn't do us any good unless we know what's causing us to be anxious. One of the things I'd ask you today to consider is, what is it that is making you anxious? I don't know that's an easy question. It may take you some time to think through, what is it about me that I'm so full of anxiety so often? What are those things? And hopefully it's not a lot, but what is that maybe one thing that's causing me to be overly anxious in my life? Once we know what that is, then we can take that to God in prayer. We can be very specific about that and leave it to God to handle, to take care of for us. We need to remember, I like this phrase of choosing prayer over despair. And so when we are just at our wits' end and we're feeling overwhelmed with anxiety, hopefully you can remember that we choose prayer over despair. One of the things about the message that I talked about was this thing of worry and concern as well, because worry and anxiety are closely related. Is it okay to be concerned? And I guess that's a question maybe for you to think about, but I think most of the time it is. It's okay for us to be concerned about things. It's fine because concern is different than worry. So we can be concerned. We can be concerned about our health. We can be concerned about our kids with school. We can be concerned about, is my job secure? Those kind of things. But worry has that idea of allowing it. We're choosing to worry. We're choosing to let it just really bother us to the point that it's overwhelming us, it's controlling us, and we're doing nothing about it, but just letting it get the best of us, I suppose is a way that we could say that. So when you find yourself being anxious, remember you have a choice to make. The choice is basically one of two things. You can either sit back and do nothing and continue to let this anxiety and this thing of worry just get the best of you, or you can choose to do what Paul says, to worry about nothing and pray about everything. That's my encouragement to you today, that whatever it is you're up against, determine what that is, but to remember to worry about nothing and pray about everything.